Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, thanks for tuning in. This isn't really a reaction video to any suggestions. I've still got those kind of in the queue. I got a list here on my desk ready to go. Hopefully we'll knock out a couple today. But I just want to make a quick video. It's been on my docket for a minute. Here recently, Gibson Guitars has been back in the news for its pursuit, or its protection, rather, of its intellectual property. They've been known to be very aggressive, almost to a flaw. See their video with Mark Agnesi talking about essentially, hunting down people who they feel are infringing on their trademarks and their intellectual property. That went over horribly. But the reason I'm making this video is that recently there has been a new story to break. The CEO of Jericho Guitars, which is, from what I can tell, I don't know a lot about them, a small builder who produce a wide range of body styles and whatnot, came under some, I wouldn't say attack, but came under the ire of the Gibson guitar legal team. This story was published by guitar.com. I'll post a link to that in the description below, but essentially the long and short is that Gibson Guitars, without notification or without what it would seem to be, kind of due process, as far as like a cease and desist type situation, essentially threatened the web host for JerichoGuitars.com. They also host BaritoneGuitars.com, and we're trying to, essentially take down their website. For those of you who kind of live under a rock, if you run a, without a storefront, like a physical storefront, a website going down for X amount of days, like I said, I don't know what the volumes for Jericho Guitars are like. But a website going down for a couple days means that you might be losing out on thousands of dollars of revenue. And this gentleman by the name of either Don or Dan Musselman, I know that I don't know which one it was. I was just reading this article and it's faded out of my memory now. Posted on Facebook and said that the Gibson legal team had contacted their web host and essentially tried to bully them out of hosting their website. Now, to my knowledge, that website is back up, and the guitar in question that Gibson was concerned about, I believe they had an Explorer model, and as well as it's a Les Paul. Let's just be honest. Were both taken off the website as offerings to comply with, I guess, Gibson's desires. And like I said, I've had this on the docket for a while. I wanted to kind of get your input on this type of thing. Now, Gibson has been, like I said, they've been very aggressive in their protection of intellectual property. They've sometimes a little too aggressive, in my opinion, and sometimes the portrayal of them has been less than favorable. If you haven't seen the Mark Agnesi video when this whole kind of crusade started, I urge you to check it out. It was one of the worst things that I think I've ever seen as far as a guitar or music industry content, or like public opinion. I mean, it was just absolutely super gross, honestly. Gibson has had some rough years. They're not really producing the quality of musical instrument, or at least they weren't. They may have revamped a lot of their kind of offerings, but there for a while, quality control was horrible, the wood selection was horrible, and the price was so unobtainable that they were really struggling there for a while. And I think that's gotten better, but all of that to say, this time around, I took a look at the pictures for the guitars that they were in question. I've watched a couple videos, like Robert Baker has a great video about this. I'll link that up here. I think that in a world where your intellectual property is kind of, it's your well-being, and once upon a time, somebody kind of came to the forefront and designed the Les Paul, right? That was Gibson. And a Les Paul is what it is because of that design, right? So it's been essentially the same design with a few modifications for the better part of, going on 70 years now. It has been one of the more emulated guitars, just like a Strat style or a Tele style. Like when you think of popular music instruments or guitar types, I would argue that it's in the top 3. I don't know what the specific order of those would be, but it would probably be Strat, Tele, Les Paul. At least that's what in my mind was. You might add in something like a Super Strat, but those are kind of the OG guitar types that we still have today. And like I said, Gibson has been very aggressive in protecting their intellectual property, to the point of they don't just go after the small guys. So Jericho guitars, like I said, I've never seen a Jericho guitar for sale. I've never played a Jericho guitar, and apart from the guitars that I've owned in the past, I'm a habitual, if I go to Guitar Center for strings, I'm always like technically in the market if I find something I really like. I like trying out, cool used instruments. Just bump the mic. Cool used instruments, cool acoustics. Like I said, just in the market for that guitar, that special one that you find kind of on accident from time to time. And I've never seen a Jericho guitar for sale. But having said that, Gibson has gone after Dean in the past and actually won. They've, I believe, gone after Kiesel and Collings as well. All of whom are pretty prominent players in the guitar scene. So, like I said, I just wanted to gauge your opinion on this. I think Gibson, again, is kind of technically in the right, but in my opinion, went about it the wrong way. Taking down a website without just like calling the person and being like, hey, could you stop? This is a Les Paul. You're making a Les Paul. You're copying a Les Paul. The headstock looks the same. Like the Explorer model looked exactly like an Explorer. If I didn't know that it was from Jericho Guitars and you just showed me a picture with the headstock like logo missing or blurred out, I wouldn't have known it wasn't a Gibson. So I think they were technically in the right, but the way they went about it was just kind of sleazy, again, as is typical for the way they handle these situations, apparently. So like I said, I just want to get your all's opinion. I'm sorry for being kind of long-winded, but I've been meaning to make this video for a minute now, and it's kind of been midway down the queue. We're pressing on, making some progress in your suggestions and things. I appreciate all the support. Be sure to leave a like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe if you have any other suggestions, any input on this situation. And I think that's it. We'll see you next time. Keep rocking, keep rolling, keep playing jazz. That's your thing. And until next time.